Already in last classes, we have studied thermometry, expansion of solids, expansion of liquids, expansion of gases, and calorimetry. In last class, we have discussed all this. Okay, so when you find the time to prepare the assignment, also already I kept the assignment, a small assignment. Okay, with less number of problems. I kept the assignment also to prepare assignments also today. Okay, because kinetic theory of gas means problems are less only, so we can do these problems and we can do the assignment also. So today we complete the assignment for last week syllabus. I think most of the students could not complete that assignment. So today you have to complete the assignment, and based on the kinetic theory of gases, you have to do the problems. That is your uh, responsibility today. Okay, right. Today let us discuss the kinetic theory of gases. So no doubt it is the branch of heat only. It is the branch of heat in which properties of the gas which cannot be seen with the naked eye directly. The properties of the gas which cannot be seen nakedly with our eye, they are called microscopic properties. Microscopic properties means the temperature of the gas cannot be measured, cannot be seen directly. Okay, speed of the particle cannot be seen. These are called the microscopic properties. These are called movement of the particles, kinetic energy. Okay, all these are the speed, momentum, kinetic energy. Okay, all these cannot be seen. Temperature, all these cannot be seen without naked eye. Those properties are inherently with gas. Such properties are called microscopic properties. Macroscopic properties of the microscopic properties of the gas means speed, momentum, kinetic energy, etc. These all are the microscopic properties which cannot be seen. Microscopic properties of the gases. Okay, next, the properties of the gas which can be seen are pressure, volume. We can measure them. Volume means whatever the volume of the container in which it is taken, we can measure. Pressure, volume, means of thermometer, we can measure the temperature directly. Okay, that's why these are the macroscopic properties of the gas. Macroscopic properties of the gas. So the branch of heat which deals the branch of heat which deals with the microscopic properties, macroscopic properties, and the relation among them. Such branch of heat or branch of physics in heat is called the kinetic theory of gases. So every so every gas is having microscopic properties and macroscopic properties. Microscopic properties. Example: speed, momentum or momentum, kinetic energy. These are called macroscopic properties. Microscopic properties, macroscopic properties, macroscopic properties. Okay, macroscopic properties means pressure, volume. Okay, these are the macroscopic properties, temperature, etc. Pressure, volume, temperature. This can be measured with thermometer. So these are the etc. These are the macroscopic properties of the particles. So the branch of physics are heat, which deals with the microscopic properties, macroscopic properties, and relation among them. That is called the kinetic theory of gases. Okay, now some assumptions in kinetic theory of gases. So before discuss the kinetic theory of gases, first we have to make some assumptions. So what are the assumptions here? Assumptions. Assumptions in kinetic theory of gases. Assumptions in kinetic theory of gases. So every gaseous atom every gaseous atom or molecule can be treated as point-size particle. Every gaseous atom or molecule is treated as the point-size particle because the atom is having size 10 to the minus 10 meter means 1 angstrom. Diameter is 1 angstrom. That means very small. That is. So that's why atoms or molecules can be treated as the point-size particles. So that is the first assumption. Okay. And the mass of the gaseous atoms are almost all very, very small. So they can be neglected also sometimes. So gas molecules are point-size particles. Point-size particles. So that is the first assumption made. Okay, point-size particles having negligible mass, having very small mass, or we can write negligible mass. This is the first assumption. Okay, next one. All these molecules are almost all identical and they are imagined as the spherical. Here, all molecules are considered as, all molecules in any gas are considered as, in the gas, are identical and spherical. Almost all spherical in shape. That's why you know the radius of the atom, radius of the molecule, radius of the nucleus also. Okay, that's why all molecules in the gas are identical and they are spherical. Okay, and whenever in case of gases, as they are moving in different directions, collision takes place among the atoms or molecules. Such collisions among the atoms or molecules, what are the type of collisions? What are the types of collisions take place among the atoms or molecules in a gas? Elastic, yeah. Here the collision among atoms or molecules are almost all elastic. The imagined elastic collision. Okay. Macroscopic property means the properties of the gas which are visible to us. They are called macroscopic. The properties of the gas which cannot be seen, they are called microscopic properties. Okay. Right. Next, all molecules in the gas are identical spherical and collision among the atoms or molecules are elastic collisions. Okay. Here, as the elastic collision takes place, among the atoms or molecules, the total energy of the system remains constant or conserved. The total energy of all molecules of the gas remains constant or conserved, okay, at a given temperature. So therefore, total energy of the gas is conserved. Total energy of gas is conserved. So these are the assumptions made. Next, here whenever the gas is taken in a vessel, the atoms are moving in different directions. No, the atoms are moving in different directions. Whenever the gas is enclosed in a vessel, as the atoms are traveling in different directions, while they travel in one direction, then the atom makes collision with another atom or molecule in their path. So before making, if you consider one atom, before making the collision with the other atom, whatever the distance traveled, such distance traveled by any molecule before it makes collision with the adjacent molecule is called free path. That is called free path. So in a gas molecule, all moving in different possible directions with possible speeds in accordance. Okay, here in gases, all molecules travel with all molecules travel in all possible directions. In gases, all molecules travel in all possible directions because due to collision, the deflection takes place. Whenever the molecule makes collision with another molecule or atom in their path, then immediately deflection takes place. When it makes collision with fall, again deflection takes place. Because type of collision is elastic, no? That's why they rebounces in different directions. That's why in gases, all molecules travel in all possible directions. All possible directions. Okay, here as the ball, as the all molecules or particles travel in all possible directions. Okay, the velocities of the molecules are imagined as they travel in different directions. They are having different velocities also. Okay, according to Maxwell's this speed distribution. According to Maxwell's distribution here, they travel with speeds, different speeds in all possible. In gases, all molecules travel in possible directions with different speeds. Different speeds in accordance with Maxwell's distribution. I think you are having in chemistry also. In accordance with Maxwell's distribution of Maxwell's distribution. That means in the given gas, most of the molecules travel with a certain speed. What is here the next? They travel before making collision. What is the average speed travel before it makes collision? Sometimes the atoms may collide the another atom after traveling a small distance. Some travel more distance and makes collision. In this way, different particles, different atoms or molecules travel different distances before makes collision with the atom or molecule in their path. So that's why their average speeds are different. Because if the distance travel is more, then average speed will be more. That's why they are having, according to the Maxwell's distribution, they are having different speeds in different directions. Okay, those different speeds are termed as RMS velocity, average velocity, and most probable velocity. Those speeds are termed as root. RMS velocity means root mean square velocity. Root means square velocity. I think you know root means square velocity. VRMS. Okay, average velocity. Average velocity means V average. V average. And most probable velocity. Most probable. Of course, we will discuss this one. Most probable velocity. VMV. In this way, according to Maxwell's distribution of the speed by various particles in the gases, those molecules in the gas are having RMS speed, average speed, and the most probable speed. Most probable speed means more here a speed with which more number of atoms or molecules travel in a gas, that is called the most probable speed. Okay, next, different particles travel in different directions. That's why what is the square root of mean of the squares of the velocities of the particle? That is the root mean square velocity. Average velocity, because they travel different distances before it makes to adjacent collisions. That's why what is the average velocity or average speed? So in this way we can, according to Maxwell distribution, the particles or molecules in a gas are having different possible speeds in different directions. That root mean square velocity. Speed, we can call it as speed also. Root mean square speed or root mean square velocity, average velocity, most probable velocity. Here, Maxwell, by considering the speeds of the particles, how many number of molecules travel with RMS speed, how many molecules travel with the most probable speed, how many molecules travel with the average speed, they calculated. And he drawn the graph by taking speed of particles taken along x-axis and the number of particles taken, number of molecules or atoms taken along y-axis. Okay, here they got the graph like this. They got the graph like this. Okay. So here VMP, next V average, V RMS. Okay, you see, more number of particles travel with most probable speed. Okay, less number of particles travel with RMS speed, and this average speed means more than medium number of particles travel with average speed. In this way, here from this it is clear that more number of particles in the gas travel with most probable speed, and only less number of particles travel with the RMS speed. In this way, in the given gas, how many molecules travel with these speeds? That was given by this one. It is the Maxwell's distribution of the speeds in the for the given gas. Okay, now it is very important. The distance traveled by each and every molecule before it makes collision with the adjacent atom or molecule, that is called the free path. The minimum distance or the distance traveled. The distance traveled by each atom or molecule, the distance traveled by each atom or molecule before makes collision with adjacent atom or molecule is called free path. It is called the free path. Okay. Shall I raise this one? Shall I raise this one? Alright, I will keep the notes in the group. Okay. So the distance traveled by each atom or molecule before it makes collision with the adjacent atom or molecule is called free path. But here, you see, suppose in a gas, it is one atom. Before it makes collision with the adjacent atom, it will travel a distance of this one. Okay. When the same particle, whenever it makes collision with this one, of course they deflect. They deflect in another direction. Suppose it travels in this, the same atom or molecule, before it makes first collision, it travels a certain distance. Okay, then deflects in another direction. And whenever it makes collision with another atom, the same atom or molecule, before it makes collision with the second atom or molecule in their path, then it will travel this much distance. Again, if collision takes place here, and suppose this the same molecule after collision with the second particle, they travel in this direction, and it makes third collision like this. You see, the distance traveled by any molecule, each and every molecule before it makes collision with the other, that is the free path. So this is free path. The free paths for the same particle, the free paths for the same particle are different for different collisions. Maybe different for different collisions. That's why here the average distance traveled by each and every atom or molecule before it makes collision with the other atom or molecule in their path, that is called the mean free path. That means suppose we have taken the three distances, three free paths for the same particle. Before it makes collision, first collision, it travels a distance s1. To make the second collision, it travels a distance s2, and third collision s3. So s1 plus s2 plus s3 by 3, that is the mean free path. So the distance traveled by the same atom or molecule before it makes collision with the adjacent atom or molecule in their path are different for different collisions. That's why the mean distance traveled by any molecule or atom before it makes collision with another atom or molecule in their path, that is called the mean free path. It is very, very important for IB point of view also. So the average distance traveled. So for IB point of view also, it is very, very important. The average distance traveled. The average distance traveled by any atom or molecule average distance traveled by any atom or molecule between two successive collisions. Between two successive collisions. Average distance traveled between two successive collisions is called mean free path. Is called mean free path. So we are not having derivation, we are having direct formula. So mean free path is equal to that is represented with lambda bar. That is represented with lambda bar. Mean free path is equal to lambda bar, which is equal to total distance traveled by any atom or molecule. Total distance traveled by number of collisions. You see here, 3 collisions take place. Before 3 collisions take place, the total distance traveled is S1 plus S2 plus S3. So total distance traveled S1 plus S2 plus S3 by number of collisions 1, 2, 3 by 3. So total distance traveled by 3. That is the mean free path. So mean free path means average distance traveled by any atom or molecule before between two successive collisions is called the mean free path. Okay. So formula for mean free path is lambda dash is equal to, we are having directly the formula 1 by square root of 1 by root 2 pi d square into small n. Small n means here it is small nv or capital Nv, we can write small nv, right? Because we may feel, because in heat, small n means we are having number of moles also. That's why you write small n suffix v. That means number of molecules per unit volume. Okay. So this is the, so root 2 pi d square n into v. So this is here where d, diameter of molecular atom, nv, n suffix v, number of atoms or molecules per unit volume. Number of atoms or molecules per unit volume. So number of atoms or molecules per unit volume. Okay. Right. So now already we know in case of any gas, the gas obeys ideal gas equation. No? You write that ideal gas equation. From ideal gas equation. PV is equal to small n capital R into T, where T is the temperature of the gas, P is the pressure, and V is the volume of the gas, and the number of moles of the gas. This number of moles of the gas can be written as number of molecules by Avogadro number, we can write now n suffix a, that means Avogadro number, into capital R into T, that is equal to capital N into R by Na means we can write, what about R by Na? Universal gas constant by Avogadro number gives what? Universal gas constant by Avogadro number, yeah, Boltzmann constant. Okay, so Boltzmann constant capital K into T. This is PV value. Okay, therefore, number of molecules per unit volume, NV is equal to total number of molecules in a volume capital V is N. Then number of molecules per unit volume is N by V. So from this formula, how we can write N by V? You bring this V to right and KT to left. Then P by KT we can write now P by K into T. Now in this formula, Number of molecules per unit volume. NV is equal to 1 by root 2 pi d square. Where d square is d is the diameter of molecule. NV is there, no? That is equal to 1 by root 2 pi d square into NV means P by KT we can write. So P by KT means into KT. We can write like this. It is the this is equal to mean free path, average mean free path. This is equal to mean free path. Okay. So this is the formula for mean free path. In IPE, they ask what is mean free path for 2 marks question. Okay, in object also important. What is the mean free path of the given gas? Mean free path of the molecules or atoms in a given gas. Whenever diameter is so and so, number of molecules per unit volume is so and so, they may ask. Suppose what is the mean free path of the atom or molecule in a gas having temperature T, pressure P. At a temperature T and a pressure T, diameter of each molecule will be given. That's all. Okay, then what is the mean free path means? By using this formula, we can calculate. Suppose volume of the gas is given. You convert them. P is equal to, we can write PV is equal to nRT by V, no? So instead of P, of course, instead of P by T, we can write nR by P by T. nR by V, we can write, no? So R, in other words, we can write lambda bar is equal to, mean free path is equal to, here you see, P by T. P by R, P by P. P by P is equal to V by nR, we can write, no? That's why K by root 2 pi d square into P by K means we can write V by nR. So you write V by small n into capital R. So sometimes you will be given a number here. N number 2 moles of the given gas occupies the volume V. The diameter of each molecule in the gas is D. Then what is the mean free path? If you ask like that, then by using this formula we can calculate because K is known. K is known. It is the Boltzmann constant that is fixed. We know 1.8 something. No. Next, universal gas constant is also constant. First, you will be given N value. Number of moles will be given. Diameter of the molecule will be given, and the volume of the gas will be given. Then we can find the mean free path of each and every molecule. Mean free path of any atom or molecule in the given gas. We can calculate. So this is very, very important formula. The formula for mean free path is very, very important for IP point of view and objective orientation also. It is very, very important. Okay, now okay, now from this, suppose if you draw the graph between mean free path and Kelvin scale of temperature. What is the relation between mean free path and Kelvin scale of temperature? Remaining all are constant. Mean free path and Kelvin scale of temperature. We have to draw graph. You see from this graph, at constant pressure, of course, diameter of the molecule is constant, K is constant, everything is constant. At constant pressure, lambda bar is directly proportional to T, no? That's why you will get a straight line passing through origin because P is constant. P constant. Okay. P means pressure, that is constant. It is the lambda bar P graph. Mean free path versus Kelvin scale of temperature graph is a straight line like this. Okay, next. In case of isothermal process, that means at a constant temperature. If you draw the graph between lambda bar and 1 by P, if you draw the graph between lambda bar and 1 by P, you see at constant temperature, lambda bar is inversely proportional to P, no? That's why definitely you will get a straight line. But here temperature is constant, P constant. At constant temperature means that process in which pressure volume changes take place at constant temperature is called isothermal process. So in isothermal process, the graph between mean free path and reciprocal of pressure, that is a straight line passing through origin. Okay, next suppose if you draw the graph between at constant temperature only. If you draw the graph between lambda bar, that means mean free path, and pressure itself, it is the pressure. Pressure is represented with capital P and momentum is represented with small p. Pressure is represented with capital P and momentum is represented with small p. Okay, now if you draw the graph, tell me at constant temperature. At constant temperature, when you draw the graph between lambda bar and P, what is the nature of the graph you will get? You respond in the chat box. When you draw the graph between lambda bar and P at constant temperature, what is the relation you will get? Here lambda bar is proportional to 1 by P. That's why we got lambda bar 1 by P graph is a straight line passing through origin. Lambda bar P graph, no, not correct. Yeah, rectangular hyperbola. Yes. In between any two physical quantities, if inverse proportionality relation is there, if you draw the graph between those two physical quantities, definitely you will get a rectangular hyperbola, whatever the physical quantities may be. Okay, that's why here also you will get rectangular hyperbola. Of course, we can extend like this. Okay, here this is at constant temperature. Temperature is constant. T constant. It is the rectangular hyperbola. Rectangular hyperbola. So here this is the these are the different types of graphs related to mean free path, temperature, mean free path, pressure graphs. Okay, now we have to discuss the another important relation, because every gas is having some energy, no? Every gas is having some energy. Okay, so what is the kinetic energy possessed by the given gas? That kinetic energy possessed by the given gas at any temperature is the internal energy of the gas. So before going to discuss the internal kinetic energy of the gas, we should know already Maxwell, according to Maxwell, he said that each and every molecule or atom in the given gas, the molecules are having three in different directions. The molecules are having different types of speeds. They are most probable speed. That means depends on the number of the molecules which travel with the given speed. Then those speeds are classified to three types: average speed, most probable speed, and RMS speed. Most probable speed means in the given gas, the speed with which more number of atoms or molecules travel, that is called most probable speed. Similarly, root mean square velocity. Next, most average velocity. So what about average velocity? Means the mean free path by total time taken is the average speed or average velocity. Okay, so that average speed we have to discuss. Just we have to define these velocities and we have to write the formulas. We are having direct formulas only. Okay. So now different types of speeds of the atoms or molecules in a gas. Are you having these topics in chemistry? I think you are having in chemistry. Okay, okay. You are having in chemistry, of course, not at all. Okay. Now, various speeds of the gas molecule, various speeds of the molecules in a gas. Various speeds of molecules or atoms in a gas. So here, first one, RMS speed of the gas molecule. Root mean square speed. Root mean square speed of gas molecules. It is represented with VRMS. 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 Root mean square speed of gas molecules or atoms. Okay. VRMS. Here, different molecules are having different speeds in the given gas. Different molecules are having different speeds in the given gas. Okay, suppose the speed of one molecule is V1, speed of other molecule V2, V3, and so on. In this way, n number of molecules are there, so Vn. Okay, then what the sum of the squares of all these speeds, that means V1 square plus V2 square plus V3 square plus and so on, Vn square and so on, Vn square. That is the sum of the squares of all the speeds of molecules, n number of molecules. Then what is the mean of squares of n number of molecules? Mean of squares of n number of molecules means this only, no? Mean of squares of n number of molecules. Here V1, V2, V3 and so on, Vn are the different speeds of the given different speeds of the atoms or molecules in a gas at a given temperature capital T. The number of molecules in the gas is n. So for n molecules, these are the speeds at a given temperature T. Then the mean of squares of the speeds of all the atoms or molecules is equal to V1 square plus V2 square plus V3 square and so on, Vn square by V Kaplan. Vn square by, okay, Kaplan. It is the mean of squares of speeds of the all molecules in a gas. Then square root of mean of square, the square root of mean of squares of the speeds of the given atoms or molecules is equal to this one, which is called the RMS speed of the RMS speed of each molecule. VRMS. RMS speed of each molecule, which is equal to, this is equal to VRMS is equal to, of course we are having direct formula only. Sometimes you will be given the speeds of the different molecules or atoms in a gas like this, and the number of molecules will be given. So what is the RMS speed means? Like this we can find. Sometimes you will be given only temperature, pressure, or molecular weight, etc. In such case, it is equal to. So that is equal in this in that case it is equal to root 3RT by Kaplan. 3RT by Kaplan. It is the root mean square speed of the each and every atom or molecule in the gas. So when temperature is more, RMS speed is also more. Okay, for different for the given atom or for the atom or molecule in a given gas, the RMS speed is equal to this one. Okay, of course, after derivation of the kinetic energy of the gas, average kinetic energy of the gas or internal kinetic energy of the gas, then I will show this formula. I will show this formula. Okay, this is RMS speed. Next, second one. Most here from this formula, it is very clear that RMS speed, VRMS is directly proportional to root T. VRMS is directly inversely proportional to root M, like this we can write now. Sometimes you will be given at a temperature T1, the temperature is in Kelvin scale. At a temperature T1, RMS speed will be given. At a temperature T2, what is the RMS speed? They may be asked. Remaining all are constant. In such case, we can write V1 by Vt is equal to root of T1 by T2. We can write now. M is the molecular weight. Kaplan is the molecular weight of the gas. Molecular weight of atoms or molecules in a gas. Molecular weight. Okay. The second one, most probable speed. Most probable speed. DMP. Most probable speed. So the speed with which more number of atoms or molecules in a gas can travel is called most probable speed. The speed with which more number of atoms or molecules can travel, such speed is called most probable speed. And most probable speed formula. most probable speed is equal to the speed with which more number of atoms or molecules travel in a given gas at the given temperature is called the most probable speed. So most probable speed VMP is equal to, we can write root 2 capital T by capital M. We can write, okay, that is equal to, we can also, this can be written in different way also. Okay, later we can write this formula. So this is the formula for most probable speed. This most probable speed is also directly proportional to root T, inversely proportional to root M. Okay, next, average speed. Third one, average speed. Average speed of each atom or molecule in a gas, V average. Already I said the average, how we can find the average speed. Mean free path is there, no? The mean free path by total time taken to make successive, average time taken to make successive collision. That is equal to average speed. Such average speed is equal to, already we have written, V1 is the speed of one particle, speed of other, like this. Okay, average speed means simply V1 plus V2 plus and so on plus Vn by capital N, we can write. This value is equal to square root of 8 RT by pi m. 8 RT by pi capital M. This is the formula for average speed. V average. Average speed can also be represented like this. The average speed is equal to V average, that is equal to this one, or root 8 RT by capital M. Here in this case also average speed is directly proportional to root T, inversely proportional to root M. Okay, here the ratio, note point, the ratio among these speeds, VRMS is to V average is to V most probable. That is equal to, when you take the ratio here, then you will get root 3 is to root 8 by pi is to root 2. So approximately this is equal to root 3 is to 2, root 3 is to 2, root 2.5 you will get is to root 2. So from this it is clear that RMS speed is greater than average speed, that is greater than most probable speed. So VRMS, this is also important for objective. VRMS greater than V average, that is greater than VMP. So this is the relation among them, and it is the ratio. This is also important. VRMS is to V average is to VMP. That is equal to this one. Of course, VRMS means you write this formula. V average means you write this formula. VMP means you write this formula. Okay, then you cancel the common terms. Then you will get this one directly. Okay, therefore ratio among them is this one. So from this it is clear that VRMS greater than V average greater than V most probable. Okay, now kinetic theory of kinetic gas equation. Kinetic gas equation hyphen the pressure of the gas. Kinetic gas equation is very, very important. From that we can derive the internal energy or internal kinetic energy of the given gas. Most probable speed, I think this is only formula in our physics. In our physics, this is only the formula. Vishwas Gupta. In our physics, we use this formula only. In chemistry, it may be different. In chemistry, even first law of thermodynamics is there. In chemistry, formula is same, but sign convention are somewhat different. Okay, we follow one sign convention, they follow one sign convention, but ultimately result is same. Sign conventions are different. Okay, which sign convention you feel easy, we follow that method. Okay, right. So next, very, very important one, kinetic gas equation. Kinetic gas equation hyphen pressure of the gas. Pressure of the gas. Suppose there is a vessel. There is a cuboid. Suppose there is one vessel, whatever the shape I have taken like this, there is one vessel. This side is A, this is a B, this is a C. Length, breadth, height. Suppose this is a origin. Here you take this side, this corner line along x-axis, this is along y-axis, and this is along x-axis. It is z-axis. It is x-axis. Okay, here some gas is enclosed in this vessel. So what is the volume of this vessel? Volume of vessel. What is the volume of vessel? Capital V is equal to. What is the volume of the vessel? ABC. So volume of the vessel is equal to ABC. Now at a temperature T, at a pressure P, m mass of the gas is enclosed. At a temperature T and pressure P, small m mass of the gas is enclosed. Okay, here the volume of the gas is capital V. Volume of the gas is capital V. So let the mass of each molecule, let mass of each molecule or atom, molecule or atom in the given gas is equal to, say, m naught, number of molecules in the gas, number of molecules in the gas is equal to capital M. Then mass of the gas, small m is equal to n into m naught. We can write now n into m naught. Okay, now so therefore number of moles of the gas, number of moles of gas, small n is equal to mass of the gas by molecular weight, or number of molecules by Avogadro number. We can write number of molecules by Avogadro number. We can write. Okay, now here you see this is equal to, we can write mass of the gas means n into small m naught. We can write by molecular weight capital M. We can write like this, like that also, no? Because nm naught is the mass of the gas, no? That's why nm naught by m we can write. Now suppose here you consider one atom or molecule. You consider one atom or molecule in the vessel. You consider one atom or molecule having mass m naught. They travel in the space with a speed, say, small v. Capital V is the volume, small v is the speed. Capital V is the volume and small v is the speed. Here, pressure of the gas is P, volume is capital V, temperature capital T. Okay, now you consider a molecule, one molecule. You consider one molecule travel with a speed v in the space. You consider a molecule having mass m naught travel with a speed v in the space. Then their component along x-axis, vx, and along y-axis, that is vy, and along z-axis their velocity is, say, vz. That means these are the velocity components of the molecule in different directions. Velocity component of the molecules in different directions. Similarly, for all molecules also like this only at a given temperature capital T. Okay, now along x-axis, whenever this molecule travel with a velocity vx, then it makes collision with the walls of the container and it rebounds back with the same speed, because all types of collisions takes place between among the atoms or between atom and wall. That is the elastic. That's why with what velocity they make collision with the wall, with the same velocity it rebounds. With the same velocity it rebounds. Then along x-axis, due to collision, what is the change in momentum? As the collision is elastic, as collision is collision between atom or molecule with walls of the container, as collision between atom or molecules with walls of the container is elastic, comma, the change in momentum along x-axis, the change in momentum of each particle or molecule along x-axis, okay, along x-axis. You see, mass of the molecule is m0. So along x-axis, initially the molecule travel with its momentum m0 into vx. After it makes collision, it rebounds back with the same velocity. That's why its momentum is same in rebound, with which it rebounds back. That's why change in momentum along x-axis. Change in momentum along x-axis is equal to delta px along x-axis. That is equal to final momentum minus initial momentum, means we can write mvx minus mvx. Initial momentum, final momentum in this direction is mvx. Initial mvx. The final momentum is in this direction, then minus initial momentum is towards right. That's why minus mvx. That's why 2 mvx. Sorry, the molecule means you write m0. The molecule only we are writing. So our molecule change in momentum along x-axis is equal to 2 m0 into vx. 2 m0 into vx. Time interval between two successive collisions made by atom or molecule with the one of the walls of the container. So here you see, suppose if you consider one particle from this point, one atom or molecule at this point. This molecule travels in this direction, makes collision, and again it makes collision with the same surface or atom here. ఇక్కడ ఒక atom తో collision జరిపి, suppose atom or molecule makes collision with the wall. Again to make another collision with the same wall. What is the total distance traveled? 2a. What is the total time taken to travel this much distance? Along this direction, speed of the particle is vx. So to travel this much distance, what is the time taken? That time taken is equal to, say, delta t. So time taken by molecule, time taken by the molecule to make collision with the same wall. Collision with the same wall. Small t or delta t. Delta t is equal to total distance traveled. You see here, first the molecule makes one collision with this wall. Again to make the collision with the same wall, total distance traveled is equal to 2a along x-axis. No, of course along y-axis it is 2b. Along y-axis it is 2c. Along z-axis it is 2b. Okay. So along x-axis time taken is equal to delta t is equal to, we can write total distance traveled is 2a by vx. We can write now time taken is equal to 2a by vx. Therefore, force exerted by the gaseous atom or molecule along x-axis on the wall. Therefore, average force exerted by molecule on the wall. What is the formula? That is force exerted by molecule on the wall along x-axis. Along x-axis. Along x-axis. X-axis. Comma. Fx is equal to. What is the formula? Tell me. Fx is equal to. What is the formula? Formula for force exerted by gaseous atom or molecule on the wall along x-axis is equal to, due to one molecule, force exerted is equal to change in momentum delta px by time taken delta t. This is the rate of change in momentum, that is equal to force due to one molecule. As n molecules are there into n, it is the total force exerted by gaseous atoms or molecules on this surface is equal to n into delta px, change in moment, small p it is. Small px, change in momentum along x-axis by time taken t. So n into, what about delta px? Delta px is equal to 2 m naught vx. Okay, by delta t means 2a by vx. 2a by vx. Therefore, fx is equal to, here 2 cancel now. We cancel. M naught is the mass of each molecule. N into M naught means mass of the gas. Into Vx, here Vx goes to numerator. That's why Vx square it becomes by A. It is the force exerted by the gas on the wall. Force exerted by the gas on the wall is this one. Okay, therefore, what is the pressure exerted by the gas on the wall due to the force along x-axis? Therefore, pressure exerted by gas along x-axis, capital Px is equal to force exerted by gases, atoms or molecules on the wall by moving along x-axis by area. What is the area of the given vessel along x-axis? Along x-axis means perpendicular to x-axis. These molecules travel along this direction with velocities Vx and they make collision with the walls. So what is the area of this wall with which the molecules makes collision normal to its surface means this area we have tried. That means B into C. Therefore, pressure exerted by the gas along x-axis, Px is equal to Fx means already we are having this formula. mvx square by A by area means 1 by area means B into C, no? This area BC. Okay, therefore, the pressure exerted by the gas on x-axis, the pressure exerted by the gas on the wall along x-axis due to change in momentum along x-axis is capital Px, which is equal to, after simplification you will get mvx square by abc, no? mvx square by abc. mvx square by abc, that is equal to mvx square by abc means volume of the gas, no? Volume of the gas or volume of the vessel? Volume of vessel or gas, capital V is equal to ABC, capital V, you write. So that's why we can write capital V. It is small v. Okay, it is the pressure exerted by the gas along x-axis on the walls. Similarly, along y-axis, Py is equal to m into Vy square by capital V. Pressure exerted by the gas along z-axis means in this direction. Pz is equal to mv z square by capital V. Okay, therefore, what here all these pressures of the pressure of the gas exerted on any wall remains same, whatever the dimensions. The pressure exerted is same, no? That's why therefore pressure exerted along x-axis or along y-axis or along z-axis, that remains the same. Okay, therefore from this total pressure exerted here, Px, Py, Pz, Px, Py and Pz all are equal, because whenever the gas is enclosing a vessel, the pressure exerted by the gas on all walls of the container is same, no? There is no change. Pressure exerted along x-axis, along y-axis, along z-axis, there is no difference. The gas exerts the same pressure on walls of the container. That's why the pressure of the gas enclosing the vessel is capital P. We write like that, no? Pressure exerted by the gas is equal to P means that is the pressure exerted by the gas on the walls of the container, on any wall of the container. That is P, that is same. The pressure exerted by the gas along x-axis, along y-axis, along z-axis, they are not different. All are same. That's why P Px, Py, Pz, that is equal to say same pressure exerted by gas on all walls of the container. That is the capital P. So from this formula you see here, Px plus Py plus Pz, capital P, capital Py, capital Pz. That is equal to, we can write 3P now because all are same. That implies 3P is equal to Px, Py, Pz means you write this one. You write all this. Mvx square by V, Mvy square by V, Mvx square by capital V plus Mvy square by capital V plus Mvz square by capital V. Therefore, 3P is equal to, you take M by V common, then small vx square plus small vy square plus small vz square. But small vx square plus small vy square plus small vz square means that is equal to v square, no? Since velocity of each and every atom or molecule, small v is equal to, we can write x component square plus y component square plus z component square under root. Z component square under root. That is the velocity of the particle. Okay, that's why this can be written as v square, as v is equal to this one. Therefore, P capital P is equal to M by capital V into small v square, we can write. Small v square, we can write. Okay, therefore, from this formula, we can write PV is equal to 1 by 3 M into, we can write PV is equal to 1 by 3 M into V square, or this is equal to 1 by 3 into M means mass of the gas. Mass of the gas means number of molecules into mass of each molecule gives the mass of the gas, no, into V square, into V square, into V square. Okay, where so in this formula you see here, P is equal to, we can write 1 by 3 into M by capital V into, suppose if n number of molecules are there, if n number of molecules are there, for all molecules we have to write a small v square can be written as, small v means the speed of the one molecule. Okay, if the average speed of the molecules means average mean of squares of, this can be written like this, no? V square can be written as, for different atoms or molecules, suppose the speeds are say v1, v2, etc. v1 square plus v2 square plus and so on, vn square by n. If you write like this, then it is the average speed. It is the not average speed, mean of speeds of the all the atoms. Okay, instead of v square we can write like this. Instead of v square we can write v1 square for all particles. For one particle it is like this. Therefore, total pressure exerted by the gas is equal to, we can write here v means that is the average speed. Average speed means mean of square of the mean square of the different speeds of the particles. This can be written as v1 square plus v2 square plus and so on vn square by n. That means it is the mean of the squares of the speeds of all the particles. Because we consider the speed of the particle over here, that is the speed of any particle. That means it is the mean speed of the mean of the mean speed of the particle. That's why mean of square of the speed of the particle is this one. That can be written like this for all particles. Okay, now in this formula 1 by 3 m by capital V. How we can write this one? How we can write this one? This can be written as VRMS square, no? VRMS square. Because already I said, since RMS or small v RMS is equal to square root of, already I said, V1 square plus V2 square plus and so on plus Vn square by n, I said. Okay, so this can be written as VRMS square, because VRMS square is equal to this only, no? That's why VRMS square. Therefore, you do cross multiplication. Total pressure exerted. But you write here, it is the pressure exerted by atom or molecule. Pressure exerted by entire gas means you take the average speed of the RMS speed of the gas. Okay, therefore, total pressure exerted by gas. When you consider the total pressure exerted by gas, then you consider the RMS speed for this particle. For all particles, we have to consider the velocities. So total pressure exerted by all atoms or molecules in a gas means that P is equal to 1/3 m by V into V1 square plus V2 square plus Vn square and so on by n. It is the average speed of all particles square. Therefore, that is called RMS square. Okay, therefore, from this formula, PV is equal to 1/3 into small m can be written as m0 into n. m0 into n means small m, no? Since mass of gas, small m is equal to, we can write n into m0, where m0 is the mass of each molecule. m0 is the mass of each molecule. Mass of molecule or atom. Okay. So PV is equal to 1/3 m0 into n into RMS speed. RMS square. So, but in some textbooks, instead of RMS speed in chemistry, I think C is there. C square means RMS speed square. Okay, this is called kinetic gas equation. This is called kinetic gas equation and pressure relation. Kinetic gas equation. Kinetic gas equation. It is very, very important formula. PV is equal to 1/3 m0 n C square. C square means RMS speed square. In some textbooks, it is given as C. Here I have written VRMS. Vx is equal to Vy is equal to Vz. The speeds are also equal. Speeds are equal. Vx square, Vy square, Vz square, they are also equal. Yes, Sidhu. Where n I forgotten? No, this total term is equal to RMS, no? And the root is RMS. So VRMS square, instead of this one, we can write VRMS square, no? This can be written as VRMS square, no? Okay, right. So this is the kinetic gas equation. Okay, now, so from these note points, so note point. So we know the kinetic gas equation PV is equal to 1/3 m0 n into RMS square. Small v RMS square. This is the kinetic gas equation. Okay, from this kinetic gas equation, PV is equal to, we can write nRT, no? Capital nRT, since PV is equal to nRT. So that is equal to 1/3 m0 n into m0 into VRMS square. VRMS square. Okay, therefore from this we have to find the RMS speed. So VRMS is equal to square root of, do cross multiplication, V nRT by capital N m0. Capital N m0. Okay, this is equal to square root of, you see here, 3 nRT by capital N. Capital N into m0 ante, we can write mass of the gas, no? Since mass of the gas is equal to N into m0. So that is equal to square root of 3 RT by, it is the number of moles is equal to mass by molecular weight. Then N by, here N by small m is equal to 1 by m, no? N by small m is equal to 1 by capital M. That means molecular weight. So RMS speed is equal to, we can write like this. No, already previously I have written the formula like this. RMS speed is equal to root 3 RT by M. Already previously, just now, before this derivation of the kinetic gas equation, already I said RMS speed is equal to root 3 RT by M like this. Okay. So in this way, from kinetic gas equation, we can find the RMS speed of the particle. Of course, derivations are not in our syllabus. Only we have to know the formulas. Okay. So this is RMS speed. Next, different kinds of speed. Of course, I said. Next, kinetic energy of gas molecule. Internal kinetic energy. Very, very important formula. Most of the problems are based on energy only. Kinetic energy of molecule and gas. Kinetic energy of molecule and gas. Kinetic energy of molecule and gas. Okay, we know the kinetic energy of each molecule. Already mass of each molecule is m0, we know. So kinetic energy of each molecule is equal to kinetic energy of each molecule, comma, that is equal to, right? That is equal to half into mass of each molecule m into VRMS square. VRMS square. It is the kinetic energy of each molecule. Therefore, kinetic energy of gas, as the gas consists of n molecules, then kinetic energy of the gas is equal to half in n into m0 into VRMS square. That is equal to 1 by 2 into mass of the gas into VRMS square. This is the kinetic energy of the entire gas. But RMS speed can be written as root 3RT by capital M. Since RMS speed is equal to root 3RT by capital M, we can write. Okay, therefore, capital E is equal to kinetic energy of the given gas is equal to half m into VRMS square, means we can write 3RT by capital M. 3RT by capital M. Okay, therefore, capital E is equal to half 3 by 2. 3 by 2. Small m by capital M is number of moles we can write now. Since number of moles small n is equal to number of moles of the gas, small n is equal to mass of the gas by molecular weight, we can write. That's why small m by capital M is we can write n RT. 3 by 2 nRT. That is equal to 3 by 2 PV we can write now. 3 by 2 nRT, that is equal to 3 by 2 nRT is equal to PV. So 3 by 2 P into V also we can write. Okay, that is also equal to 3 by 2 into N can also be written as number of molecules by Avogadro number. Number of molecules by Avogadro number. Okay, therefore, instead of small n, if you write capital N by Na, capital N into here capital N by Na. R by Na means Boltzmann constant. No? That's why Boltzmann constant capital K into T also we can write. These are the various formulas for kinetic energy of the gas. Here, small n can be written as R. Boltzmann constant capital K is equal to universal gas constant by Avogadro number. We can write like this also. This is the formula for kinetic energy of the gas. Okay. So 3 by 2 nkt we can write R 3 by 2 nRT or 3 by 2 PV. These are the formulas for kinetic energy of the gas. Next, degrees of freedom. Very, very important concept in this chapter. Degrees of freedom. Anybody else know the degrees of freedom? Anybody else know the degrees of freedom? Not heard so far? Okay. The number of ways the atoms or molecules in a gas can gain the energy. The number of ways the atoms or molecules gains the energy is called the degrees of freedom. That is I think that is the simplest definition of the degrees of freedom. So the number of ways the energy gained by atoms or molecules in a gas is called the degrees of freedom. The number of ways, the atoms or molecules in a gas, atoms or molecules in a gas can gain or acquire. They can gain or can acquire energy is called degrees of freedom. It is represented with small f. Degrees of freedom. Okay, suppose first you take the monoatomic gas. For monoatomic gas, that means you take helium gas, inert gases, helium, neon, okay, like that, helium, neon, krypton, argon, etc. Suppose in that the particles are in the form of atoms only, in atomic state only. So you take that atom. So whenever that atom is there, when that atom travel in a space, then it is having component of velocity along x-axis, along y-axis, along z-axis. That means this atom is having, because of its speed along x-axis Vx, it gains the kinetic energy along x-axis. Because of its speed component along y-axis, it gains the kinetic energy due to speed along y-axis and along z-axis. That means this atom gains the energy in three different ways. One is due to motion along x-axis, along y-axis, along z-axis. That's why what is the degrees of freedom for monoatomic gas? What is the degrees of freedom for monoatomic gas? What is the degrees of freedom for monoatomic gas? So this atom or molecule is having velocity along x-axis, velocity along y-axis, velocity along z-axis. That's why from three different ways it can gain the energy. Three ways. That's why the degrees of freedom for this is 3. Therefore, for monoatomic gas, degrees of freedom is therefore F is equal to 3. Okay, next for diatomic gas. For diatomic gas, that means hydrogen gas, nitrogen gas. The molecule in a gas, the molecule consists of only 2 atoms. That is the diatomic gas. Diatomic gas. In case of diatomic gas, also whenever the molecules are there, because here this is the translational kinetic energy. As the monoatomic gas is having gains the energy because of its speed along x-axis, along y-axis, along z-axis. That's why it is having only translational kinetic energy. So due to translational kinetic energy, only, translational kinetic energy. So because of motion of the particle along x-axis, along y-axis, along z-axis only, it acquires the energy. Such energy acquired due to velocities along x, y, z-axis called translational kinetic energy. So due to translational kinetic energy, this monoatomic gas is having 3 degrees of freedom. Okay, in case of diatomic gas, in diatomic gas there are 2 atoms. In diatomic gas there are 2 atoms. Okay, so this is x-axis, this is y-axis, it is z-axis. Okay, now in case of this diatomic gas, whenever the molecule travel in a space, then this molecule is having speed along x-axis, along y-axis, along z-axis. That's why it is having 3 degrees of freedom as usual due to translational motion. And at the same time, this molecule can be rotated about y-axis. No, this molecule can be rotated about y-axis. About y-axis, the molecule can be rotated like this. That's why about this axis, it is 1 degrees of freedom due to rotative motion. This can be rotated about the z-axis also. That's why about z-axis also, because of rotative motion, it gains the rotational kinetic energy. And what is the rotational kinetic energy about x-axis? As these 2 atoms are considered on x-axis, even though they rotates about x-axis, the size of the atom is negligible. That's why distance of the atom from the axis x-axis is 0. That's why rotation kinetic energy mr square. R is 0. That's why rotation kinetic energy is 0 about x-axis. So due to rotational motion, this molecule, atomic molecule, gains energy due to rotational motion along y-axis and along the x only. No rotation kinetic energy due to rotation about the x-axis. That's why it is having totally degrees of freedom. F is equal to 3 degrees of freedom due to translatory motion, 3 translatory plus 2 rotatory. So totally 5 degrees of freedom is there. So in case of diatomic gas, it is having 5 degrees of freedom. Due to in every molecule, due to translatory motion, no doubt it is having 3 degrees of freedom. Okay, in case of diatomic molecule, it is having 2 degrees of freedom due to rotating motion. So totally, the total number of degrees of freedom in case of diatomic gas is equal to 5. Okay, next, diatomic gas or polyatomic gas. Triatomic or polyatomic. Triatomic or polyatomic. Triatomic gas means we can write ozone, CO2, carbon dioxide. Okay, in this way we can have the different gases having 3 atoms in a molecule. So that is the triatomic gas or poly, methane gas, whatever it may be, butane gas. Okay, in this way there are different types of gas are there. So for triatomic gas or polyatomic gas, because of translator motion, no doubt they are having. So in case of triatomic, suppose if you take triatomic gas, you take the triatomic gas. So here one atom is here, one atom is here, one atom is here, one atom is here. So in triatomic gas, suppose three atoms are there in a triatomic gas. In triatomic gas, each molecule is having 3 atoms. Suppose this molecule travel in a space with certain speed, then it is having component of speed or component of velocity along x-axis, along y-axis, along z-axis. That's why due to translator motion, it is having 3 degrees of freedom. So F is equal to degrees of freedom is equal to 3 due to translatory. Every gaseous molecule due to translator motion, they acquires the 3 degrees of freedom. Plus, you see about this x-axis when you rotate, as this molecule rotates like this, then it is this molecule is having rotational kinetic energy about x-axis. About y-axis we can rotate. About y-axis, of course, this atom may be having rotational kinetic energy 0, but these two are having rotational kinetic energy, no? About this axis, these two atoms are in this example. About this axis, these two atoms are having 0 rotational kinetic energy, but this is having rotational kinetic energy. That's why about x-axis it is having rotational kinetic energy. About y-axis, the rotational kinetic energy of this atom is 0, but these two are having rotational kinetic energy. No? About z-axis, these 3 atoms are having rotational kinetic energy. That's why due to rotational motion also, this molecule diatomic this molecule in the triatomic gas or polyatomic gas acquires 3 degrees of freedom due to rotating motion. 3 degrees of freedom due to rotating motion at normal temperatures. Therefore, degrees of freedom is 6 at room temperature or at small temperatures. At small temperatures. All these are at small temperatures. At small temperatures. Okay. Note at small temperatures is degrees of freedom. Can be used. Suppose at high temperature means the molecules split into atoms. That's why degrees of freedom may be changed. That's why. So this degrees of freedom, in case of from this, it is clear that degrees of freedom depends on atomicity of the gas. No, note 1. At small temperatures, these degrees of freedom are applicable. Next, here from these examples, on what factors degrees of freedom depends? Monatomic mass means one atom. Atomic means in a molecule 2 atoms are there. Here 3 atoms or more atoms are there. That's why here the number of atoms in a given molecule is called atomicity. No? That's why the degrees of freedom depends on atomicity of the gas. F depends on atomicity of the gas. Atomicity of gas. So atomicity means so degrees of freedom depends on atomicity of the gas. Atomicity of the gas molecule or simply gas molecule. Okay, next note 3. At high temperatures, in case of monatomic gas, in case of diatomic gas or triatomic or polyatomic gas, at high temperatures, the vibrations of the atoms or molecules are also vibrations of the atoms in a molecule are there. That's why in such case we have to consider the vibrations of the atoms or molecules also at high temperature. Okay, so in vibrational motion, that means at high temperature, the degrees of freedom of the diatomic gas at high temperature is 2 degrees due to 2 degrees of freedom due to vibratory motion will be added. Okay, so at high temperature, due to vibratory motion, that means in case of diatomic gas, you see, whenever the temperature is high, then this execute oscillations also like this. Okay, so at high temperatures due to vibratory motion, additional 2 degrees of freedom will act. At high temperature due to vibratory motion, 2 degrees of freedom will be added. So therefore, at a high temperature, for diatomic gas, degrees of freedom is equal to 3 due to translatory plus 2 due to rotatory plus 2 due to vibratory. So totally 7 degrees of freedom are there for diatomic gas at high temperature. 7 degrees of freedom at high temperature. Generally, if it is not mentioned high temperature or low temperature, if it is not mentioned high temperature or low temperature, we have to consider the low temperature only. If high temperature is there, definitely you will be mentioned there. It will be mentioned there. Okay. Right. With this degrees of freedom, I will start the class. In next class, we have to discuss the internal kinetic energy of the gas in terms of degrees of freedom. It is applicable for anyone. And law of equipartition of energy. Okay. Right, Nana. Have a nice day. I'm signing out. Bye, all of you. Okay. Sorry, I did not see the time. Okay, right. Bye, all of you. Okay, note down. Shall I sign out? Yeah, for triatomic also in vibratory motion 2 will be added. Additional 2 degrees of freedom will be added.